My name is Preethi Thomas. I'm a director of engineering. Um, and my teams work on container technologies and also software management tools such as Podman, Bootsy, DNF, RPM. And we are responsible for CoreOS in OpenShift and image mode in RAW. So I've been manager for 18 years and a little over 8 years as a manager. So when I first applied for the manager job, I remember reading the job description where it said managing high-performing individuals. And I looked at it and said, how hard that could be. When I joined the team, little did I know I was joining a team which had a lot of subject matter experts, team leads, all kinds of technical leads in the area. So then I was like, uh-oh, what did I do? So, and what am I going to do with them? Or how am I going to support them in their career growth? And then as I grew into the role and got comfortable talking to them, I realized the biggest part or biggest responsibility for me is building that trust and making sure that listening to them and understanding where they want to grow and meet them where they are. So Namita.
Namita Soman, and I'm a senior engineering manager. Does this work? I'm a senior engineering manager with Red Hat doing the RHEL identity management team. So my team basically builds the software that enables our customers to securely manage their user identities and access policies across their entire Linux infrastructure. I'm based here, right here in the Boston area, closer to the Red Hat Lowell office. And I've been with Red Hat for 14 years, been a manager for 10 years. And it's been really good to be able to lead some of my teams. And I very often get asked, what is it that you enjoy about your job? And honestly, it is the people. It is so good to be able to play a part in their growth, in their journey. And it comes together when they have figured out what they would like to do. They take ownership. They follow their dreams and accomplish it. And I'm just playing a part in it, but it does give a good satisfaction and joy in it. And with that, let's go to the agenda.
So today, I think if you attended Micah's session just before this, you'd probably see that there's a lot of connection between what he was talking about and what we're going to talk about in a different setting. So Micah was talking about a manager's path, and we are talking about more of an individual contributor path in what it means to be a technical leader there. So today we'll start with defining what makes a technical leader and how that is different from a traditional management role. And we'll talk about some strategies that we thought is important as a technical leader. And then we talk about how the collaboration and building an environment of trust is important. And also, finally, we talk about mentorship and the importance of mentorship as a technical leader. Let's get it started.
Yeah. So you've been a senior software engineer or quality engineer in your role for some time. You are, going along. You're executing. You know what you're good at, and like Preeti likes to say, you're like being a mushroom, staying where you are, looking down, and wondering, what's next for me? Where do I go from here? Usually these thoughts, reflections are during the quarterly reviews. But what does that mean? You are used to being that go-to person. You are part of that solving the complex bug or coming up with the elegant architecture. You are used to being that go-to person. But that shift from being that top individual contributor to being a technical leader is a fundamental identity shift. So let's see what that means is actually going beyond your technical skills is you no longer want to be that person who is going to be the hero and swoop into, save the day with the perfect answer. Instead, you're going to focus on what your impact and influence is going to look like. It is a shift. It is a shift in how you are adding value. You are empowering those around you You are being that force multiplier. You're building you're like, it's the quality of the team that you're building. It is the decisions that you guide through. It is the processes and tools that you put together to empower your team to do better. And that's what is going to redefine your value. Um, it is a shift for you to start thinking differently, because now you want to embrace a reality. It is about your value comes from what your team is accomplishing, celebrating their wins. And as a manager, that's kind of what I like also, like, being part of their journey, understanding what their successes can look like for them and celebrating it with them. Super IC. Have any of you heard of that term here? Not yet? Well, super individual contributor. It's a term that is gaining popularity nowadays. And with AI, it's a shifting landscape of what the leadership can look like also. And with AI is not just a new tool, it is a new superpower that one person with the right knowledge and the right AI agents can do the job of what probably needed a team previously. Now this person with the AI knowledge can actually step out of their zone, innovate faster, solve more complex problems, and become that force multiplier. And from that, you can see how your growth takes off from there using some of these multiplier effects. You can actually now, like, for example, now it is not how many people you manage or how many people you lead that is going to affect how you grow. It is more about your technical skills, staying on that and making sure that you are focusing on your technical expertise, building that craft because that is your asset. And from that step on, building your influence through that technical craft that you have come together with is going to help you to shape the future going forward. You can be part of that journey and also being directly innovative in the emerging technologies, being part of that, and talent is focused on the providing the solutions rather than leading day-to-day operations. That's where your niche comes through. And on to you.
Thanks, Namita. So how do you define that technical leader? Just before that, going back to the AI agents and Super IC, I know someone on my team who's really accelerated what he is doing by using AI and digital agents as his digital assistants, in fact. So he's using it to review code, writing code, and even writing code in a language that he's not familiar with, so that can get him where he needs to be in the initiative that he is working on. So that's really, it's becoming his superpower. And then I think everyone can think of that digital, it's not taking your job, but then it is helping you in accelerating where you want to go. So how do you define a technical leader? So it's crucial to distinguish between a technical leader and a traditional manager or a management role. So while there are certain things that overlap, you are the one, so here you are being the architect or the technical lead, but you're helping the team to navigate the architectural decisions, the tech debt, or maintain high standards. So in a nutshell, so if you have, people who have worked with me very closely know that I'm a proponent of different books that I quote in my talks or when I talk to them. Mike is laughing because I know every time Mike and I talk, I give him a book recommendation. So in the book Staff Engineer, so that's a great resource for people who are in the IC track, where they are, the book explains four aspects of it being a technical leader or a staff engineer. That is being a tech lead, architect, solver, and the right hand. So we also will have a lot of book recommendations at the end of our session. So to give some examples of some of the technical leaders, so I have had the privilege of working, helping a couple of folks through their distinguished engineer journey. In one case, they were understood a problem that, recognized a problem and worked with the community to solve that problem, not only in the community, but partnering with the companies like Microsoft to solve that problem in the upstream, and then parallelly working with different teams across Red Hat, starting from kernel in RHEL to container runtimes in OpenShift, to make sure that OpenShift has those features in the next release. So that is the impact, recognizing the problem, all the way from identifying the problem, all the way to releasing a product that has the business value. In another case, they created a tool and continued to propose the business value, not only within the engineering leadership, but all the way up to the CEO, and was able to make, and then finally was able to, now we have something called image mode for RHEL that is GA'd this year. So those are kind of the technical leadership that one can impact across from where you are. So let's talk. So let's talk about, we talked about defining a technical leader. So let's talk about some strategy to develop that strategic acumen. So how do you avoid being, and then how do you avoid being that mushroom that Namita talked about earlier, just looking down? So it's more about looking, not just looking down, but looking sideways and upward. So what is needed, not just within your team, but across. And here are some examples and strategies for navigating complex technical discussions and aligning them with business goals. So to begin with, the importance to start framing your technical decisions in business terms. So which means that you start asking the why, and why something is needed, or do you see a problem, and what that problem, how do you connect that problem to a business strategy? So then you champion the MVP approach instead of doing the pursuit of perfection, or not invented here mindset. So really looking at the problem holistically. You would need to build, so in that case, you would need to build strong relationship with your stakeholders and across, like maybe it is your top level managers in your leadership chain, or across, you partner with your business counterparts or the business unit counterparts. And then also looking at the problem as how does it impact the revenue? What's the user experience, and how do you scale? Right? This will help making informed decisions when balancing technical perfection and with business realities. So that is where you ask those questions: do you build or buy, or is it perfect? Does it need to be perfect, or is it good enough? I know some of the people who I've managed. I'm sure I've talked about that with people about that quite a bit. So I know there are folks who are perfectionists. So then having the negotiations with them to make sure that why do we need to land something now versus waiting for that perfect moment or perfect solution. It also requires the outcomes. It also requires communicating complex technical problems and concepts to your team, and also non-technical stakeholders, right? So the key actionable thing that you can do is start asking the why, and keep asking the why.
Yeah, and actually, as part of this, developing the strategic acumen, I do have an example that happened in my team as well, is when We had a workshop where some of our technical leads and some of the leads from our customer support came together. And they were brainstorming areas where, how can we support each other? And an emerging threat that came through was the lack of support for smart card resources. Having, not knowing how to troubleshoot it or how to use them or what are the best practices. And our lead just volunteered to maybe present bi-weekly sessions. Let's, support, bring your questions and let's build some content around it. After some of these sessions, it was lots of good content came together. So now it was like we thought about how can we put this together for a different audience as well. And eventually our lead was able to upload some of the content to the our Red Hat learning portal. And it still lives on. Like after all these years, it is still used by many of our new people coming onboarding with this. So this is a good example of how our lead kind of connected the gaps, the business need, and came up with a solution, a long-standing solution. So yeah, Preethi shared a few tips on how to develop the strategic acumen, but we also should focus on building the culture in the team and why that is important for us. As a technical lead, you are enabler to build that high-performing culture in the team. And a basic foundation to this healthy culture is the psychological safety. It is that is, creating the environment to be able for people to be able to ask questions, take the risks, challenge any ideas, and most importantly, be able to fail without feeling any punishment or humiliation. And we have so many global teams coming together. So very often you will find that some cultures speak up more often than the others, or maybe some phrases get interpreted differently. But if you have that safe space, it all comes together and it works. And once you have this foundation, then you can build up. Constructive conflict is a very good way of bringing teams together to where they can debate passionately but respectfully. And that's kind of the other way of fear of conflict, because you don't want people to be in meetings where everybody just nods along with everything, and then the actual conversations happen behind in the private channels. Those decisions come together, so avoid that. And a great framework to help with this kind of building the culture is the radical candor, which is care personally for your colleagues while challenging them directly also. It is about being kind and clear, giving that honest but direct feedback because you genuinely care for your peers or associates' growth and success. So provide that feedback also. Again, we do have books on this at the end of the slide deck. And along with building that collaboration, along with building the culture, collaboration plays a key role into all this. As a technical lead, be the engineering catalyst, sparking a reaction that enables the entire organization to collaborate and effectively and be more efficient around it. As to be able to collaborate, you might have to wear one of these 4 hats or have one of these personas depending on the situation. So a strategic storyteller, it's like, how often does it feel like the roadmap is just a list of tasks? Can you, bring together a context for shared purpose with your team so that everybody aligns on the why? Be that storyteller. Storyteller as in bringing together, what is the community looking at? What is the industry looking at? What our users want? If you bring that together, everybody understands the why and can align with the feature map, roadmap also. Being the problem solver. Should collaboration stop because you have external dependencies or ambiguous projects? Try to come through, be that problem solver and help people go through those gaps, but in a way that allows them to move forward. You're not just sharing resources, you're opening up a path to them. Being a, what is that? I don't have my glasses. Being the consensus builder. This is where, there are disagreements going to happen, and how do you bring your people together, bring your teams together to direct them so that you're not dictating a solution, but allowing for a collaborative problem-solving state. And the last one is being a scaler. I can read that now. Being a scaler where you can build the tools, build the processes, and amplify your team's collaboration. So be that catalyst to be able to amplify all the collaboration around you. On to you.
Thanks, Namita. So moving on to the mentorship part. So your impact as a leader isn't just about the projects you helped ship or you developed or the code you wrote. It is your long-term legacy. And your long-term legacy is the talent that you helped develop. So if you were at the DEF CON CC session by Dan Walsh, he's a great example of someone who has developed and be the pioneer for many software that we use now, the technologies that we use now are very popular. But what stands out in his session is he's talking about the people that he has developed. So that is the force multiplier in a different way. So that so if you haven't watched that session, it's on YouTube. Otherwise, stay back for the session later this afternoon. In fact, I changed my flight to attend that. But the effective mentorship is not just giving advice. So the advice giving is part. However, the effective mentorship becomes you become a coach. So another book here is a quote from the book. Is if you've read the book Coaching Habit, it actually talks about you will learn that how the best leaders shift from being the advice giver to being a coach. So recently, we had a managers training at Red Hat where we were talking about a different coaching framework called GPS coaching, where it was talking about the 4 phases of coaching, which is which are challenger, explorer, expert, and I think supporters.
Yeah.
So as you start your mentorship journey, you start being a supportive and explorer, where you build that trust with your mentee or coachee, and as you understand what and where they are, moving on to using the other phases of challenger, challenging your mentee to do other things. I think yesterday we were talking, one of the things that Urvashi was trying to convince my daughter to speak, and then the way that she was talking about was this was Dan's way of pushing me out of my comfort zone, being a public speaker, where he challenged me to go speak publicly and build my brand that way. So hopefully, Anna, you listen to that too. So ultimately, by investing in your people, you are becoming a force multiplier. You are building your legacy. Till now, we talked about what you can do as an individual contributor to help grow your career. So you're not in an island working by yourself. So how do you partner with your manager to help you get there? So Micah's session was pretty much talked about many of those strategies, or how you can build trust, work with your manager. So just to summarize some of them, or just to highlight some of them. So your managers, working with the managers in setting that expectation. So every level has different expectations or competencies. So making sure that you understand what they are and what the expectation is. It can be very easy to be busy in your work while not actually working at the important things, or things that really makes that difference. So partnering with your manager to hold them accountable, like your manager accountable to explain to you what that expectation is, and ask those questions until you understand that. It is uncomfortable conversations, right? So then the manager can help you provide that challenging work. So sometimes you're not at the table that you're not listening to what is needed, what the company priorities are, the department priorities are. So then that will help you figure out that challenging work. So then your manager can help you get that visibility where, again, you may not be talking to your leadership chain. So that is where your manager can help you get that visibility. And then that being that supporter, providing that supportive culture where you need what you need, understanding that. So how some of you may have. So how do you partner with your manager, understanding that and making sure that your manager understands you, where you want to go, how you want to grow? So a great model or framework that we have used at Red Hat for quite a while is the OPT model, where it stands for opportunity, passion, and talent. So the key idea behind it is you do your best when all these intersects, right? So working through what the opportunities are, where your passion is, and what the talent is. So that helps you understand where you want to go, how you want to get there. So that's about OPT. So I have more to say about that, but then if you want to talk more, let me know. We can have a chat.
Well, we can kind of go over our wrapping up now. It's mainly the highlight is the journey is a shift in your mindset on what your role and impact looks like going forward. Some of the things that to remember is, or a few takeaways is shifting your, I really need my, shifting your value. Moving from that coder to being a force multiplier. The next one is also about focusing on building your business language so that you can actually translate your technical work to the strategic company goals. And staying curious because you want to learn more about what's going on around you. Leading with empathy is also a big piece because the human side of software development is not the soft skill, it is the skill to build your trust and psychological safety in the team. And finally, it is be the talent multiplier is your legacy. Your legacy is what you bring, how you mentor and develop the people around you. Follow some of these principles or all of these principles to be able to make an impact beyond your code. And we do have the promised list of books here.
If you want more, come find us.
But that's it, yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, we've got a few minutes for questions. So any questions? I'll come to you with a microphone. What? No questions? Unbelievable.
Everybody's thinking of
It was so detailed. If you do have questions, there's some books here you can read. Definitely take a picture of that. Last shot. Oh, here we go.
In one of the slides, you talked about the super IC and how with a talented individual with AI, they can basically replace the work of an entire team. What happens when you end up with a team full of super ICs and you're all doing the work? Each one is doing the work of one team.
That's the manager's dream come true then, because now you can innovate.
That sounds amazing. And where do I sign up?
Yeah, that's innovation at its best then.
All right. Any other questions? Nothing? Is that it? Want to put the books up one more time?
Sure.
Give everyone a chance to take some pictures. All right. Let's give one more round of applause.